Good day everyone. This is the Tamron 20-200mm f2.8-5.6 Ti3 RXD. This is the world's first super zoom lens that starts with f2.8 compared to the standard f3.5. This lens is also known as model A071. I had decided to grab one of these because I was looking for an all-in-one solution for travel and landscape photography. Like many other zoom lenses out there, this has a variable aperture starting as mentioned earlier from f2.8 to 5.6, which technically means that the amount of light that enters the lens changes as you zoomed in and out. I had this from October last year, which was released in 2020. Remembering back from my old Nikon days, I have this 18-300mm super zoom lens and it's very reliable for travel. But I had already jump shift to mirrorless and was glad to have a full-frame Sony a7 III along with the Tamron 17-28mm f2.8 as my first set of lenses. There is one time that we traveled to Whangarei Heads in New Zealand where I only brought the 17-28 with me. But if I only have a telephoto lens that time, I could have captured more of this beautiful mist along the hills. And now enters the 28-200 from Tamron. I do believe that this is an underrated type of super zoom lens as majority of them aren't sharp enough. It consists of 18 elements in 14 groups. But make no mistake, the images that coming from this lens are top sharp, way better than people conceive in an all-in-one zoom lens. Looking at its size, it's only 117 by 74mm dimensions. It's fairly light as well, weighing only 575 grams. The size and weight is ideal. I tested it on the Zion Weebless gimbal and it works really great. It's not front heavy and I don't need to rebalance the gimbal even if I zoom in. And since it's made of high quality polycarbonate plastic, it complements well while mounted on top of this Weebless. It's very light for my compact star tracker as well, and I have captured some amazing astro shots with it. I also have a short video about astrophotography on my channel, if you're keen to have a look. For size comparison, in case you also have the other outstanding Tamron lenses, here's the side-by-side with the Tamron 70-28mm f2.8 and the new 28-75mm VXD or G2 f2.8. My review for those lenses will also be up soon. If we're going to have a look on its front element, it has the same with almost all the Tamron mirrorless FE lenses for Sony. It has 67mm filter thread size, along with several anti-reflective coatings against dust, dirt, moisture, and even fingerprints. This is the lock switch. It's the only button that's present to this lens, whereas to prevent it from creeping down by itself in the future. When zooming at its maximum focal length of 200mm, the lens extends from 117 to further 171mm without the lens hood. And I also have a separate zoom test video of this lens somewhere in the link below. So as far as I'm aware, this lens can directly compete with other Sony full-frame lenses like the Sony 24-105 f4 and the Sony 24-240 f3.5 to 6.3. The Tamron, of course, as expected, is the cheapest between those three. Both Sony lenses also offers additional lens stabilization, whereas the Tamron relies on the camera body's built-in steady shot. This is a 200mm steady shot off versus steady shot on. Sony a7 III's in-body stabilization really makes a huge difference. But even though all of them are weather sealed, only the Tamron has the visible rubber ring protection on its rear mount. This is very important and adds more confidence along with other leak-resistant seals throughout the lens barrel. As majority of lenses out there, this lens also suffers from distortion and vignetting, but a flick of a button in post-processing will mostly fix the problem. Here are some before and after sample shots from most of its respective focal lengths. I've seen a lot of famous reviewers that praises this lens. The price to performance ratio has so far exceeded my expectations as well. It may be not that super duper fast in autofocus compared to some prime or constant aperture zoom lens, but given the fact that it's a variable super zoom lens, it's still doing a good job. Here I am testing its autofocus capability. You can get away with this if you're not shooting fast moving subject, hence a prime lens will be ideal for those kind of stuff. I highly recommend either the very fast 55 or 85mm primes if you're considering on shooting fast phase subject. But I have to say that the autofocus is smooth and very quiet. This lens is also excellent for close-up shooting. At 28mm, the minimum object distance is just 0.19 meter that has a magnification ratio of 1:3.1. With that and the f2.8 aperture, it can render a creamy and beautiful bokeh. On the longer end at 200mm, the MOD is 0.8 meter with a magnification of 1:3.8. 200mm at f5.6 doesn't have a very thin depth of field, but as long as you're not shooting too far, telephoto lenses can also yield a smooth and out of focus background. Bokeh is subjective of course, and sometimes a topic of debate. Look closely at the sample bokeh of this shot. It's kinda busy and there are like small circles inside the circle. Of course, this might not be the strength of this lens. This was shot at f5.6 on 200mm. And you'll probably get a better result using a dedicated prime lens like the 85 or 135mm at f1.8 or even 200mm at f2.8. But still, it looks so sharp. And just like every piece of glass that you point towards the sun, you can create some unique layers. Contrast still looking good though, and the chromatic aberration seems to be well controlled. If you're going to have a look here, chromatic aberration and high contrast scenes normally develops on these leaves and branches. Honestly, I can still see some by zooming in more than 100%, but like I said, it is well controlled and can easily be fixed in post-processing. Using Adobe Lightroom's Lens Correction tab, you can either just tick this Remove Chromatic Aberration checkbox, or do it manually by defringing. And just like that, it went away in an instant. Another shot at 200mm has a very minor and almost unnoticeable chromatic aberrations. They usually appear on the far corners, but can easily be removed using the same method. Good job Tamron, and Adobe Lightroom as well. So far I'm loving this lens. This is way better than we normally expect in an all-in-one zoom lens. I normally shoot landscapes, so even though I already have the Tamron 28-75 with me, I will keep this for a lightweight travel kit along with the 70-28 and the size 55mm 1.8 while enjoying the company with others. Plus the fact that the images are so sharp, that's gonna be the bonus part. So guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to leave some sample images before I end this video. If you find this helpful, please don't forget to like and share. And comment if you already have or planning to get this lens. Maybe subscribe as well, because why not? We probably share the same passion for photography anyways. Enjoy your day. Thank you once again.